Hello, beautiful brown girl. Welcome home. My name is Sanja, and I am your host. Fun fact, my name means wisdom. That said, I want you to relax and enjoy today's video. Are you ready? Good. Let's get started. Hey, y'all. I think one of the biggest lies a lot of us were taught growing up is that success automatically equals fulfillment. That if you just go to school, get the respectable career, make good money, and become successful, eventually happiness is supposed to arrive somewhere after that. But what happens when you accomplish everything you were told to pursue and still feel disconnected from yourself? I think a lot of women especially were conditioned to prioritize survival over alignment. We were taught to be practical, responsible, sensible, to choose security over creativity, stability over passion, and for many of us, especially those raised in survival-minded environments, dreams were often treated like luxuries instead of callings. I know for me personally, creativity was always there. Storytelling was always there. Art was always there. But I was heavily persuaded toward what was considered safe, something practical, something that would make money. My desire for the creative was often reduced to, they don't call it being a starving artist for nothing. And while I understand the intention behind advice like that, I also think a lot of people unintentionally teach their children how to survive without teaching them how to feel fully alive. But one thing I'm grateful for is that somehow, even after all of that conditioning, I still found my way back to the things I loved as a child. And now I get to create without a ladder to climb, a ceiling to hit, or a cap on what's possible for my life. There's a moment in my Black romance ebook, 7 Days, where Callie is living what most people would consider a successful adult life. She has the stable tech job. She's responsible, independent, doing everything she was taught she was supposed to do. But internally, she's exhausted, burnt out, spiritually disconnected from herself. She's commuting hours through Atlanta traffic every day, emotionally depleted, surviving more than she's actually living. And I think a lot of women know exactly what that feels like. To wake up every morning already tired, to build your life around responsibilities while quietly grieving the parts of yourself you abandoned along the way. To become so focused on being dependable, productive, and accomplished that you stop asking yourself whether you even like the life you built. One of the things I find most interesting about Callie's story is that when ease and support finally entered her life, she didn't just struggle to receive it, she fought it every step of the way. Not because she didn't need help, but because hyper-independence had become part of her identity. She wanted to pay off her own debts, handle everything herself, earn rest through struggle. And honestly, I think a lot of women have been conditioned to believe they are more valuable when they are suffering. We glorify burnout. We normalize exhaustion. We wear stress like a badge of honor. And somewhere along the way, many women started believing rest had to be earned instead of understood as necessary. But the older I get, the more I realize success without peace is not success at all. Money means very little if your nervous system is constantly overwhelmed. Achievement means very little if you're emotionally disconnected from yourself. And I think many people are living lives that look successful from the outside, while privately feeling emotionally starved on the inside. I also think there's a difference between building a life that impresses people and building a life that actually nourishes you. One is performance. The other is alignment. Sometimes softness looks like slowing down long enough to admit that the life you fought so hard to build may not actually fit who you are anymore. Sometimes softness looks like giving yourself permission to rediscover the version of yourself that existed before survival mode took over. And sometimes softness looks like finally pursuing the thing that made you feel alive all along. So if you've been feeling emotionally exhausted lately, burnt out, disconnected from your creativity, overwhelmed by responsibilities, or quietly wondering whether there has to be more to life than just surviving and paying bills, maybe your nervous system is trying to tell you something. Maybe the money was never supposed to cost you yourself. If you're on your own soft life journey, subscribe. We're going to be talking about discernment, emotional safety, femininity, rest, creativity, and becoming the version of yourself that no longer believes suffering is the price of worthiness. And before I go, if you enjoy emotionally rich Black romance centered around softness, healing, becoming, and complicated love stories, my ebooks are linked below, including 7 Days. It's a warm invitation to escape the world, get lost in a Black love story, and maybe even find yourself along the way. I love y'all, and until next time, bye.